enough room, he will squash his own. He will slam all of his exits. This guy is a master at digging deeper. And to all the Democratic hopefuls, to all the media people covering this, every single one of you, dismantling this man's argument and his strength points is not a difficult concept. It is not hard. And if anybody showed that this week, thank you, Tom. If anybody showed that this week, it was George Stephanopoulos. The literally just sitting there, touching his chin, paper on his lap, basically having this "what are you talking about" look on his face was enough to get Trump. Now, he definitely kind of came. It's like he comes online and goes offline. Trump does, and so you get to this like, okay, his sharpness came back for a second, and his game plan is almost like muscle memory, and he calls Stephanopoulos a wise guy for suggesting. Well, here it is. This is the other clip that probably got run the most.
If you answer these questions to me now, why not answer them to Robert Mueller under oath?
Because they were looking to get us for lies, for slight misstatements. I looked at what happened to people, and it was very unfair. Very, very unfair. Very unfair. I gave them 1.5 million pages of documents, right? I gave them 400 or 500 witnesses. I let Don McGahn testify. I let him he was the White House counsel. I let him
testify. I knew he was going to testify. An interview. You didn't answer questions on obstruction.
No, wait a minute. I did answer questions. Questions. They gave me questions. I answered them in writing.
Not on obstruction.
Look, George, you're being a little wise guy, okay? Which is, typical for you. Just so you understand. There was no crime. There was no collusion.
Yeah, that's so. The little wise guy thing was his attempt at doing I do nicknames thing. That's my brand. I nickname people. And Carl in our chat room, you'll get yours, smart guy. See that Dane? I told you the guy was a tinker. Does he want a pillow for his head? The amazing part about the interview was how simple it was to get Donald Trump to do this. And to all the pundits and everybody, when you are confronted with, and you will during the campaign, allow Donald Trump to dig his own grave linguistically. Give him the room to do that, because that will make a huge, you will be in a much bigger position of strength if you simply allow the man to punch himself in the face, because he will. He is incapable. This is one of the things. If the biggest ego point, and I think this was clear during the interview, if the biggest ego point for him is admitting to a crime, he'll do it. He'll do a "you can't handle the truth" moment every single time. And yes, in the chat room, everybody's asking about Lady B. She is with us indeed today. She's going to be filling in this Saturday and next Saturday. I think we burned out our intern from last week. They gave him they overworked him and gave him another show to do as well. So we're lucky enough to have Lady B. So say hi to Lady B, everybody in the chat room. Excellent. And I'm sorry about the buffering. According to my side, the signal is okay, or maybe it isn't. We'll figure it out. So. Anyways, over the course of the last week, as these, in general, as these campaign-related back and forths have happened, as a continuation of the fight over whether or not there should be impeachment going on, and these are all valid conversations to have, and we're going to get to those today. One of the other side points has been this ratcheting up of potential war with Iran that in many ways is positioning itself for a wag the dog and and I think everyone needs to double their attention on this, and of course, there there tends to be a lot of noise around these things, but because of the distrust most people have over Donald Trump, and especially in areas when we deal with Iran, that there is a real concern that they're looking for a pretext for war, and with people like Bolton in there, and with people, surrounding the president who've been looking to do this for a very long time, and the president really finding himself underwater in 15 of 17 states that he won and that gave him the Electoral College last time. Thank you, Kelly. There is their genuine concern that he would reach a crisis point where he has decided that, this is the best way. Oh my gosh. I think we lost Chicago on that one, and I don't know why. That's weird. Okay. We'll be linking back up with Chicago. That looks like that looks very concerning. I don't know. We shall see what we can handle in those terms. But either way, so continuing with the story, if we can transfer over to that, Lady B will hopefully solve that for us. Let me see if I can get one physical solution. Pardon me one moment, chat room, while I solve a problem. The reality is that as we get closer to these moments where Trump himself seems like if he has only one option left, this is where he will go. And I think a lot of us have a reason to be afraid about this. And the Gulf of Tonkin references, that have been floating around, people's concern about whether or not this is legit, as far as what Pompeo is saying about it. All of these are concerning, needless to say. And the two big points are the limpet mine accusation by the U.S. government and by Trump specifically calling into Fox and Friends and saying that he believes it's Iran, that we have video. It says Iran on the boat, like it's labeled or something. It's the whole thing is very curious, in terms of how blatant he's being with it, especially when you compare it with what we're seeing from both the Japanese who own the boats that were attacked and the European and other groups. I'm trying to fix one thing as I do it and try to get me back on the air in Chicago while I fix this thing, because I think the rain was an issue. But in terms of that, we have an article from the New York Times that says the flying object that struck the tanker in the Gulf of Oman, operator says, was not a mine. They believe that they were struck by a flying object, possibly a rocket-propelled grenade, possibly a missile. That part isn't abundantly clear, but there is a huge concern that in terms of Yutaka Katada, the president of the Japanese shipping company Kokuka Sangyo in Tokyo on Friday, was showing a picture of this ship with a big hole in the side, and saying that one of the tankers that were attacked in the Gulf of Oman was struck by a flying object, the ship's Japanese operator said on Friday, expressing doubt that the mine had attached to its hull. So this whole story that we're finding out about, that were being sold by the Trump crowd, unfortunately, has an increasingly worrisome aspect to it.
Ooh, there you go.
As it ratchets up.
Okay, we lost you.
Oh, hi, I'm back. Look at that. And I locked us back. We should be good.
Yes,
you can
we're
hear me
back
okay?
on air.
Okay, good. Hey, well,
Yeah.
sorry about that, guys. We were worried about the rain or something happening, and Lost me for a minute, but I got us back on, so we're good.
But you're kind of robotic.
Oh no, of course I am. Because why would everything work well? It's so maddening. We need one of those VIA things, the better connector machine. I'm gonna lobby. The station's got to get me one. That's all there is to it. We gotta lobby for that, Lady B, so that we all don't lose our minds.
Yes.
Am I less robotic now? Is it straightening out? Is it gaining some ground?
It's better now.
Okay, good. All right. Well,
It's better now.
okay. So what I was talking about during the article about the strike in the Gulf of Oman, the 2 Japanese ships that were attacked, and the storyline coming out of the White House.